I used to look back and wonder how we let the Holocaust happen. I now realize as I watch history repeat itself that a community is bound by its borders. Their empathy begins and ends with a line, never crossed, never breached. And now we watch as Israel bombs borders and bulldozes boundaries, tugging at the strings of its puppets all over the world to convince you that what they are doing is in the name of self-defense, that their guns aren't meant to kill and their bombs aren't meant to destroy, that innocent civilians are found dead, not murdered. But twisting reality does not make it any less real. Not when we are forced to witness a genocide from behind a screen with our hands tied behind our backs and our voices silenced. The border, and while it may be easy for you to scroll past the genocide, you will never be able to forget. The border you once thought kept the evil out in the world actually concealed it within your people. The silence you practice now will be a sign of your support for murder, torture, and theft. The community you fought long and hard to protect will remind you every day that you gave them ammunition to break laws and spread hate when you turned a blind eye to the atrocities Israel is committing. In 1932, the International Peace Garden was founded in North Dakota for people across borders to share friendships and extend an arm of peace. The same arm Palestinians offered Jews during the Holocaust when they sought refuge in their homes. And the same arm that Israel severed when they decided to repay that favor by stealing their homes and murdering their people. But peace for one means peace for all. I am not speaking to you as an Arab or a Muslim or a woman or a daughter or a friend or a sister. I am standing here before you as a human, asking you to call for a ceasefire, to support that same peace you promised within that garden, because you will always harvest what you plant.
Hello again. Today I am speaking on behalf of two community members from Palestine who are unable to address you themselves. First is Dr. Baha al-Abid. The war in Gaza strikes a personal tone for him. He was born merely miles away from the Jordan River. His parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents were born in the West Bank. Today, many of his immediate and extended family, along with his friends, still live in the Holy Land, and he's unsure if they'll survive through this genocide. 7 years ago, Dr. Al-Abid chose to live, serve, and pay taxes in North Dakota as a doctor in the intensive care unit. He says, "I don't know about you, but I would like my tax money to stay in North Dakota and serve North Dakota communities. Why would billions of our tax dollars be sent thousands of miles away to fund the senseless killing of children? Why would we be okay with taking away money that North Dakotans worked hard for and use it to fund immoral wars?" He then continued with, "There's absolutely no justification of bombing hospitals or children, none whatsoever." I couldn't agree more. The other resident that I'm speaking for tonight is another local physician who does not wish to be named, but wants her voice to be heard. She states, "As residents of Fargo, our hearts are heavy with the knowledge that such suffering continues unabated. Gazans are losing their lives daily in a conflict marked by senseless violence, poor humanitarian conditions, and actions that bear the weight of genocide." She goes on to say, "This matter, while international, hits close to home for us in Fargo. It questions the alignment of our community's resources with our values of compassion, justice, and global responsibility. She believes addressing the plight of Gazans' children and advocating for peace is a reflection of Fargo's ethical stance and a direct expression of our shared humanity. It's a call to action that resonates with our community's commitment to making a positive impact in the world." These two community members, along with all of these community members, urge you to align Fargo's actions with Fargo's values and call for a ceasefire now.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, members of the community, my name is Pastor Martin Avery. I'm an ordained United Methodist elder Currently serving a two-charge ELCA parish. I live here in Fargo. I've been asked to speak on behalf of the local faith community in support of a resolution calling for a ceasefire in regards to the ongoing death and destruction in Israel and Gaza. We believe that it's possible to be outraged by more than one thing at a time, and that wishing for an end to the current violence in Gaza does not condone the violence Hamas has had against Israel. We deplore both the killing of 1,139 people and taking of 240 perpetrated against Israel by Hamas on October 7th, and Israel's response that continues with no end in sight. According to Lutheran World Federation, as of the 19th, 29,000 children, women and men have died. 69,000 have been wounded. Nearly 2 million people, 85% of the population of Gaza, have been displaced, and around 45% of homes in Gaza have been destroyed. Over 150 Israeli hostages are still held in Gaza. The current violence brings to mind an African proverb I first heard from a professor of mine back in the 80s, and they said it in the context of another conflict with civilians bearing the brunt of violence by forces they found themselves between. And this is that when elephants fight, the grass gets trampled. And sadly, the metaphor doesn't address the violence against people who may live on the other side of the planet. Reverend Elizabeth A. Eaton, the presiding bishop of the ELCA Church, has written in an open letter, in our communities we have Jewish and Muslim neighbors who are also facing the horrors of this crisis and its impact on their loved ones, people residing here in the States. While we seek a passage of the resolution in favor of a ceasefire, I'd like to share with you a portion of a prayer published back in October from Rose Marie Berger in Sojourners. We lift up Palestine and Israel, its people, its land, its creatures. War is a monster and it consumes everything in its path. Peace is a gift shared at meals of memory with Christians, Muslims, and Jews. Let us burn incense, not children. Let us break bread, not bodies. Let us plant olive groves, not cemeteries. We beg for love, compassion, prevail on all our holy mountains. We ask for passage.
Thank you. I want to state that we've heard your comments about the tragic situation in the Middle East. This armed conflict is impacting all parties in the Middle East and around the globe. We continue to advocate for a negotiated settlement which will finally bring peace to this area of the world. And to that end, I am collaborating with our Metro government partners on potential steps forward. Thank you for sharing your comments with you. We have heard you.